Welcome to Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. I'll be covering every studio song the band has recorded and every bonus track that I can find. Each week we'll go over a new song from the beginning to where they are currently, and as they keep adding albums, I'll keep adding shows. Let the deep dive party begin.
In the magic garden, some were singing, some were dancing.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Uriah Heep, the Magician's Podcast. I am your host, Scott Haskin, and I am here to talk today about song number 8 from the newest album, Chaos and Color. This one is called You'll Never Be Alone, which is really ironic because I'm sitting here by myself while I'm recording this. I almost just dropped the CD on my keyboard. So before I get into today's song, now that I've actually received the CD in the mail from Amazon, thank you very much for getting it to me well ahead of the ridiculous schedule that you promised of mid-February. I got to tell you guys, like, this is a really nice package. I mean, this is really classy. I was a little confused when the description said it was a hardcover book because I'd never seen one like that before, at least not that I recall. But watch my living the dream when it's like this, and I just don't remember. But it was a digipack, which is kind of weird because there's no digital content on it. It's just the music, just the one CD, no DVD. I was hoping for another behind the scenes video like we've had for the last couple of albums, but no such luck. That's okay. Because this is really cool. It is a hardcover CD case. So, instead of the thin cardboard or the, what do they call them? Like the envelopes that they've been doing for CDs for the last few years. This is actually like a hardcover book. And it comes with a very nice, vibrant, quality stock paper. I guess it's almost like a, I don't know what you would call it. Not like a poster board, but and not cardboard, but a really like thick, glossy paper, very high quality. The colors are just amazing. How they just pop off of the page. All the lyrics are in here, and the fonts are actually not too bad in size. That's often a complaint, is that the CD booklets are so tiny that you need a magnifying glass to read them. And I'm not getting any younger, let's face it. But the cover of the album, and then you open it up and there's another picture of the cover of the album. There's this really beautiful opening where it has the band's name and the title of the album with just these blue splashes with pink clouds and a little bit white in there, a little bit of red in there. Just absolutely beautiful. I don't know, like I said, it looks like these were digitally painted. I don't think that these were like actual explosions that they set off, but it looks like a very nice digital painting. I'm still going with That's Russell on the cover. I'll see if I can confirm that at some point. The lyrics are readable. There's some nice pictures of each of the band members individually, and then one of them as a group, which is very nice. And then the CD comes in a sleeve in the back. There's the last page has the track listing. And then there's the pouch for the CD, and then another painting of the color splashes. Looks like this one's upside down from the first one. Yes, it's an upside down image of the opening of the book. So that kind of makes me feel like it comes full circle. And then on the back, of course, we have a tiny version of the album cover art, and then the track listing. There is a lengthy thank list in here from each of the members, from all the companies that for all the companies that endorse them, for their families, friends, all that good stuff, management. Very comprehensive, very well done. I love when bands include that kind of stuff. It's 3 full pages of acknowledgments, which is really cool. There's a page with, all the producer credits and all that stuff too, the official websites and all that. Really, really cool. Very, very comprehensive, high quality. Really love this as a physical package. In general, I don't buy a lot of physical stuff anymore. I started collecting vinyl again. because of a weird set of circumstances, but it's been nice to do that. But for the most part, I really don't like to have a lot of physical product. I don't like stuff that takes up space. I don't like things that, are more awkward to take with me. I can just load digital music onto my iPod, just take that into the car. It's really small. It fits in my pocket. But I will say having a very nice thing like this on my shelf is very classy. And they did a absolutely fantastic job with the packaging. And, we've reviewed 7 songs so far. And I have to say, the classiness holds up to the music because the music has been absolutely fantastic. And we're dealing with a song that's a little bit longer today on this episode. This one weighs in at 7 minutes and 57 seconds. So just under 8 minutes. And, it's not like Uriah Heep has ever let us down on a longer song. Most of the time, you really don't get the impression that the songs are as long as the time tells you because they go so fast. They're so interesting and enjoyable. So let's find out where this one goes. Once again, the title of this one is called You'll Never Be Alone by Uriah Heep off of their newest album, Chaos and Color. Okay, I know it's a little early to stop the song and start talking about it already, but it's also not because that was a killer tone. I love the build of that, the sound of it, and then just that little reverse cymbal sound in the background of it. Really intriguing, very mysterious. Can't wait to see where the song goes. This is the kind of stuff, aside from the solos and just the general riff writing that I hear from Mick. This is the kind of stuff where I think he really shines. Just putting the passion in his playing, the emotion that we feel from the notes. There's just something about what he does that I don't hear from a lot of other guitarists. I don't know if it's maybe the note range that he plays a lot of this stuff in, that sort of mid and upper mid range. Maybe it's that makes it feel a little different, where it kind of feels like it should be a solo, but it's not, because it's not that low end, lower register guitar distortion that we're used to hearing, kind of what we're hearing in the background with the rhythm guitar. But there's just something about the way he plays it has always brought out something. And that has been one of the biggest keys to Uriah Heep for me. Over the years, people have talked about the organ and the vocals being so big a part of it. But honestly, there's so much of that's Mick. And I think that's really, for me, a lot of what it is. Yes, you have to have great riffs. Yes, you have to have that bottom end filling in the sound. But really, this is what drives them for me, especially, really, I think since Peter Golby, maybe since around the time Bernie joined the band. I'd have to go back and really pay attention. But I mean, I could name songs back over the years, even back to the early albums, that have this quality to them. But there's something about that I think really defines Uriah Heep for me. Interesting. What a beautiful build that was. And then to drop down into just this beautiful piano melody, very classical, almost, I don't want to say new age, but there's something about it that feels like it kind of transcends classical a little bit. I'm not sure how to define that or why I'm feeling that way. But it's definitely just a beautiful, maybe it's that sound that we're hearing in the background of it. But, yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was going to build up, and then it really digresses here down to something more gentle. So adds just another element. I mean, here we're only a minute in. We've already heard, as usual, multiple parts, different layers, lots of changes. I love the way these guys are writing and performing at this point in the band.
lost within a dream. A little girl plays gently by the stream, totally unaware. A tiny creature creeps behind her there.
I feel like it's very poetic already. I love the feel of it. I like the gentleness in the vocals. Bernie is so good at that. We've heard that even, just on this album, we've heard it quite a bit, but it really works with that piano. And I feel like obviously we're up for another build. This one, I didn't talk about this, and I usually don't, but I'll mention it on this song. This was written by Gilbrook and Pinto. So this is another half outside influence. We've had really good experiences so far with that working, especially on this album. So a very gentle song. And, a lot of people think that if a drummer writes a song or is part of writing a song, that it's going to be heavy into percussion. So far, minute and 22 in, we're not hearing a ton of percussion or drums. Drummers can write. It's I'm a drummer and I've written a bunch of music, and for some reason there was, and I think in a lot of ways there still is a stigma that, the vocalist writes the lyrics, the instrumentalist like the guitar player writes the song, the vocalist comes in and writes the words. And it really isn't like that. I mean, anybody is capable of writing music, and Russell's certainly been around music for, long enough to be able to understand it. He's a very creative guy. I love that he's working on writing these songs. And I remember when I interviewed him, these songs were in development at the time. So it's pretty cool to hear them and hear what made the album.
Such a sweet song she sings, of a promise she brings. Come with.
That was a really nice passage. I love the bass on that. Very gentle. It almost sounded like a fretless. I don't know if Dave has a fretless or maybe had used one in the studio, but it almost sounded like a fretless bass to me. Either way, very cool. And then just a quick jump back to that piano melody only once, and then it goes into this next part. A lot of moving parts in this song. I'm hearing the bass a lot more clearly on some of these later songs than I did on the first couple, and I'm really glad because the bass guitar has a lot to say. It's a deeper, mellower sound, so it's blending in a little bit to, the low end that we're getting from guitars and keyboards and stuff. So that's part of why it's a little bit harder to hear, but I like that it's standing out here a little bit more. Really adds a lot to the song. And Dave's such a great player, you don't want to miss out on his performance either. But this is really nice. I like that doubling from Bernie. And this is a really nice song. I really like this drum beat. It seems like it should be too much for the song. And I feel like I've said that before on this season, but it's not. It really enhances it. It moves the song. I think what I might be having a little bit of a problem with, well, not might be, I am, is that I think the vocals are just, again, a little too quiet in relation to the drums. I think the vocals should be out front just a little bit more, but that kick is nice and punchy. That snare's got a nice tight pop to it, even with that deeper snare sound that I like so much. And I can't deny the drums sound good, but I think the volume levels are just slightly off from my taste. And again, that's just me listening through these particular headphones. That is going to have an effect on which frequencies are highlighted. And every pair is going to be different. If you're listening in the car, you're listening to different cars, you're listening through earbuds or different earbuds, headphones, all these different ways that you could listen to music. It's going to sound different on every one of them. And it is impossible these days for an audio engineer to make something sound good on every format. It just cannot happen. So for this listen through these headphones, that's what I'm getting, is just a little too much drums and a little too less vocals. But other than that, this is fantastic.
Such a sweet song she sings, of a promise she brings. Come with me, I'll take you down there, a magic world unknown. All your dreams will be fulfilled. You'll never be alone.
I like when you can take a mid-tempo song and really bring a lot of power with it. You know, you don't have to have speed to really make something sound large or intense or whatever. And I love there was a little higher range fill-in on the keyboard there from Phil, which was really nice between the lines. And a lot of times we hear Mick doing those. It's nice to hear a little variety and have Phil do one now and then. He's quite good at those too. Yeah, this is really cool. I really love the immensity, is that a word? Immenseness. It's immense. That's what it is. Immense.
Underneath the leaves, an entrance in the land, deep into the ground. The pair move further down, crawl beneath the outcrop, tunnels soon they found. A distant light ahead, muted voices sound.
That was a nice surprise change in 7/8 time signature. I really like that. Really powerful. That organ is really, really driving the song too. Really powerful. I'm hearing a little bit less guitar, a little bit more organ on this one so far. Really powerful. Of course, the snap of that snare drum is unmistakable. Really powerful part.
There in the clearing, a magic world to behold, filled with the children taken ages ago. Scanning the room, the young girl sees its face, out of place, lost the chase. Her twin she traced from before.
Wow. I'm trying to not keep stopping the song, but man, that is such a cool part. I love that vocal from Bernie there at the end. Really powerful. Love the layering on that too. It has a bit of a dark edge to it. And I like that sound. It's like he's adding lower harmonies instead of higher harmonies. So it really gives it a lot of power and thickness. And then to just stop the song at that point is a really bold choice, because you've got this energy flowing. And here I would think that you would want to take that elongated part from Bernie and then turn that into like solo or something going from there and keep the energy going. But to just stop is really a risky and bold move, because now you've got to pick up the energy again. Even if you want to change it, if you want to do something that's in halftime, you could make a change that's abrupt, but stopping it's a whole thing altogether. So let's see. I could be completely off base, but that really felt like a throwback to Gypsy, didn't it? That part where everything just, we hear the organ and nothing but the organ, and then it just comes back in with this fierceness and this killer drum roll and this, really powerful guitars just playing the riff. It really felt like a throwback to that, just with a slightly different arrangement. Again, I could be completely wrong. That may not have been intentional or anything, but that's really what it felt like to me. And it worked then and it worked here.
Ear-piercing scream guided her core to hidden the trees, alerting the town. The elders came down, claiming back children once lost to the ground.
uh, uh, Good God, man. What do you even say about that? Mick was absolutely on fire on that solo. I mean, he has gotten so good, hasn't he? He always was. I mean, even if you go back to Very Heavy, Very Humble, Salisbury, the solos he was doing on Salisbury, he's always been a very talented guy, but man, he has just found a new gear. I almost feel like it's like all this pent up energy that everybody had during COVID was just unleashed on this album. You know, they couldn't play out. They couldn't even really jam together very much until they really got together to record the album. So I find it's just like they're just unleashed on this album, and I love it. I was trying to pick out too a little bit of what Phil was playing. There's really just this big sound wash behind Mick where you can't, at least again, my headphones can't really detect a lot of what's going on. I just feel like a full sound wall is behind Mick. I was able to pick out a little bit of what Phil was playing, and it was very interesting. But I like the progression that's behind it, that you can tell. And just a blistering solo. Now we're into some double bass drum stuff. This is actually, I wasn't even noticing this. I'll have to go back and double check the songs I've covered already. But is this the first shuffle feel that we're getting in a song on this album? It's usually a pretty big thing for Heep. So weird that we would go this long, unless I just didn't. I was just so inundated with things I didn't even notice it, which is certainly possible. There's a lot to tantalize the senses on this album. This isn't really an organ solo, so I feel okay interrupting it without feeling like I'm not paying respect to Phil. Because this is like the parts where I talk about Mick playing a melody and not a solo. But listen to what Russ is playing, because this is really interesting here with the double bass pattern and the snare. That's fine. That's solid and on the beat. But what's interesting is his placement of the ride cymbal. That's kind of off. And it feels kind of jazzy, and I like that. I love the feel of that. That was a very abrupt and unexpected change, I have to say. I did not see that coming at all. I thought they were going to build to something completely different. So I really like the bold choices on this song. You got to love that they're not sticking with standards. They're not saying, okay, this is the structure of how you put a song together. They're saying, we're going to do something interesting. We're going to do what we want. We're going to do what we feel. And we're going to do something different. And I really like that. This was probably a slightly more awkward transition, because it really just kind of dropped. I would have expected like maybe a bigger, not explosion, but just something where everything is just stopped. Like I would have expected like a bigger cymbal ring out, or, something like that. But I guess that was the intention, was to just, okay, now you're in this other place. Boom, you're back to where we came from. And I have to say that's powerful.
Doesn't see the danger lurking
God, listen to how powerful that Hammond organ is. It sounds so good when he kicks on that distortion. It's just such a signature sound. And I love the way that that sits within the rest of the music here. The song is now beefed up to yet another level. We still have about, a minute and 11 to go to the end of the file. So that's like, a minute and 9 or so to the end of the song. But man, this is just killer.
Come with me, I'll take you down there. A magic world unknown. All your dreams will be fulfilled. You'll never be
Well, that was a killer organ solo and a great ending to the song. I do think that the organ was a little quiet in compared to the rhythm guitar that we're hearing. I would have liked a little more balance between those two, but the ending tones were really cool. I love the way that the organ faded out and we heard those little piano notes in there. I think those were reversed. Reverb was added and then they were put forward again because they kind of sound like they're coming in before you hear the note and then they decay afterwards. So the way that you do that is you would hit the piano key, you would reverse it so that it's backwards, and then you put a reverb on it so that it draws in a little bit better before the note. Instead of just having that one tone fade in, you've got a little bit of an ethereal sound that when you put it forward, and then you put another reverb on it to get the decay of the note afterwards. And I'm pretty sure that's what they did here. I'm also hearing the like almost like something scraping a string. I don't know if that was maybe a piano string. It sounded bigger than a guitar, but then with effects these days, you can make anything sound pretty much like anything. So I don't know exactly how it was done, but in any case, it's a very cool ending. I love the layers of tones on it. And a great way to, this really felt like an ethereal fantasy type song in a lot of ways. And I like that it ended on a way that supported that. So, wow, what a killer song. So many parts, so many things that we just witnessed and heard and experienced. My head's kind of reeling from this. This is a really epic journey, this song. And so I have to say, this combination of Russell Pinto, I'm a fan. And I would love to hear what the original version of this was and see, in contrast to how Heep finished it, the same way that we did with Save Me Tonight, because that we could see the progression on. I would love to know what this was before the band got a hold of it and then did whatever they did to make it their own. But certainly a kick-ass track. Being the ridiculous person that I am, I had to go run into the other room and grab my Live in the Dream CD, DVD, digipack that I got, and just to compare the physical differences. So this one, and it's a little bit different, it is to me a little bit of a disappointment that we didn't have a DVD available to us this year with the documentary, but you also have to look at the cost of it. You have to look at how much longer is that going to delay the process. I mean, they finished this album in June. It didn't come out until January. So you have to look at a lot of factors as to why it might not have been done this year. Maybe they're like, we've already done a couple documentaries. They don't need to see us sitting around the studio. There's also the cost of the production. You have to have a larger book. You have to have another tray insert or a paper insert to be able to accommodate for the extra disc. So with what they did with Live in the Dream, it's a fold-out digipack. So you've got the CD on the left, the booklet stapled into, or not stapled, it's on an insert in the middle. And then on the right panel, we've got the DVD. The book is a standard, just stapled together CD booklet, done very nicely. But I really like this hardcover idea. I don't know if they make the hardcover case with a second insert that could have accommodated a DVD. I'm not really sure why it was listed as a digipack, and I don't know if that was changed since I first ordered it, but originally it was listed as a CD digipack, which kind of gave me the impression there would be a DVD. But in any way, both very high quality stuff. I'm happy to have both of them on my shelf, but that's a huge difference. Like now that I have this hardcover book, I kind of want everything to have that hardcover book, right? I want like my shelf to be like a bookshelf, but of music. I really like this. I really like this packaging, and I don't really usually give a shit about packaging, but this is like really cool stuff. So I'm kind of blown away by it. And of course, with the LP, the vinyl version, I know there's black vinyl. I know there's lime, which I didn't. I was like, how can that possibly look good? Like a lime album. But I saw a picture of it and it actually really does look very good. And it works, with the colors, the whole, idea of the concept of the album cover. I know that there was another color vinyl. I don't remember which color it was, but you had so many to choose from. I mean, you've got red, you've got purple, you've got blues. They did the green. You could probably do a white and make it work, but definitely more like a pink would probably be better. So pink, red, blue, yellow, purple, lots of colors. But then again, cost of manufacturing and delays. So we know that the pressing plants are backlogged. So if you're like, hey, we've got a project for you, we need 8 different colors of vinyl and blah, they're going to be like, all right, look. That's going to not be a priority because we have all these other ones that we can knock out, get paid for. The plants were shut down too for a good majority of the time that the lockdown was happening. So it was like they were trying to survive too. So they've got to take the jobs that are going to pay the most. And if it's something's going to take up their presses for a while, that might be something that they option to say, okay, we've got to get some other jobs ahead that we can get in and out really quick. And yours is going to take a lot more effort. So we're going to have to hold this back for another month or two, or, however it might be. This is all speculation on my part, but certainly a reasonable response should that have been one from the pressing plant of options to do more. And maybe that wasn't even the intent. I don't know. I have no inside information on what the concept was for doing the album, but I could certainly see those things as possibilities. I think, though, honestly, this album, 8 songs in out of 11, it's been such a great album to review. Every song absolutely excites me. I can't wait to really just kind of listen to them again as a listener and not be, like dissecting it. But I'm glad that I do that on the first listen so that I can really say with fresh ears, here's my first impression. Trying to pick out little things, but also enjoy everything at the same time. It's a fun challenge for me, but also really makes me dig into what I'm hearing as opposed to just listening as a casual listener. And maybe I'm only focusing on 1 or 2 things at a time instead of really trying to appreciate and encompass everything that the song has to offer. I'm sure as I listen to this album and get to know it more, I'll find more and more things that I did not hear. As I'm listening in the car or under different headphones or maybe on my vinyl when I get that copy or whatever, I'm sure that I'll hear different things, but I cannot say enough good things about this album. All biases from my love for this band and my appreciation for the members and the production crew and everything that goes into it. All that aside, if I were to just hear this album, 8 songs in, absolutely love it from top to the shelf I'm at. And we've got 3 songs to go. We'll see. Will there be a shuffle in it? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know anything about the other 3 songs yet. So that will do it for this episode, guys. I hope that you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next episode. Cheers. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Uriah Heep, the Magicians Podcast. If you have enjoyed this show, please consider going over to Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast outlet, leaving a rating or a review. Be sure to subscribe to make sure that you are notified when new episodes are available. Please be sure to share this podcast with your fellow Uriah Heep enthusiasts and anyone who you think would like Uriah Heep, which should be everyone. And if you are so inclined, please feel free to contribute to the Patreon account. And if you are not a Patreon subscriber, you can also pay through the PayPal link on the website listed in the show links below. I would also like to thank Uriah Heep for their very generous support of the show, and thank you guys for listening. We'll see you in the next episode. Happy days!